The context for Tuesday's much-anticipated White House meeting comes from comments like these from the two leaders.
Why would we pay $200 billion a year in subsidies to Canada when they're not a state? You do that for a state, but you don't do that for somebody else's country. So I think Canada is going to be a very serious contender to be our 51st state.
It is true that President Trump has betrayed Canada. He's betrayed Canada. And he has ruptured the global economy. Our old relationship with the United States is over, unfortunately. America's leadership of the global economy is over. And this is a tragedy.
Fast forward to Tuesday's warm welcome at the White House, all smiles for the gathered media, and immediately into what has fast become a custom since Trump's return to the White House, an encounter in the Oval Office in front of the world's press.
It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Mark Carney with us. As you know, just a few days ago, he won a very big election in Canada. And I think I was probably the greatest thing that happened to him, but I can't take full credit. His party was losing by a lot, and he ended up winning. So I really want to congratulate him. It was probably one of the greatest comebacks in the history of politics, maybe even greater than mine. You know?
Carney called Trump a transformational president for his relentless focus on the economy and the American worker, arguing that he too was elected to transform Canada with a similar focus. As questions quickly turned to Trump's comments about making Canada the 51st state.
Well, I still believe that, but you know, it takes two to tango, right? But no, I do. I mean, I believe it would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens. You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There would be a lot of advantages, but it would be a massive tax cut. And it's also a beautiful, you know, as a real estate developer, you know, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person, but when I looked at that beauty, I said that's the way it was meant to be. But you know, I do feel it's much better for Canada, but we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it.
The Canadian Prime Minister then weighed in, emphatically so.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, you know, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. And we have done that in the past. And part of that, as the President just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership, and I'll say this as well, that the President has revitalized international security, revitalized NATO, and us playing our full weight in NATO, and that will be part of it.
True.
Trump also indicated that there was nothing Carney could say to him in their meeting that would see U.S. tariffs on Canada lifted.
No.
Why not?
Just the way it is.
Respectfully, Canadians' view on this is not going to change on the 51st state. Secondly, we are the largest client of the United States in the totality of all the goods. So we are the largest client of the United States. We have a tremendous auto sector between the two of us, and the changes that made have been helpful. You know, 50% of a car that comes from Canada is American. That's not like anywhere else in the world. And to your question about is there one thing? No, this is a bigger discussion. There are much bigger forces involved, and this will take some time and some discussions, and that's why we're here.
Thank you very much.
A tense relationship, but a meeting that didn't go completely off the rails. There was a clear shift in tone from both leaders in their joint appearance, but the public session in front of the media did not unravel, as did the meeting between President Trump and Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelensky in late February. But there are major sticking points between the two sides on tariffs and the future of their $750 billion annual trading relationship, with countries around the world watching closely for any clues that might benefit them in their future dealings with the United States. Shervin Riceby's SABC News, New York.